Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Logan, aka the Army Vet Trucker. If it's your first time here to the channel, I am an extra board line haul truck driver for a company called ABF Freight. Today we are here in the terminal in Old Dallas. We are heading out on a meet and turn run to Claude, Texas. So we got called at the, 9 a.m. call block this morning and got in here, had to go in the shop. The tractor that they assigned us was a Mack, and you know, usually the Macks are pretty decent, but the issue that we were having was interesting. The exhaust, so the muffler here goes up all the way above the cab, and it's supposed to go up over the trailer, and the corner, I guess maybe the elbow that goes from the DPF outlet, where the DPF outputs the exhaust into the out pipe to get it up above where it needs to go, was just gone. The elbow was gone, so the exhaust was just coming straight out of the DPF out into the air. And if you don't know, in the gap between the back of your tractor and the front of the trailer is kind of like a little vortex, and you don't want that. I didn't even know that. The mechanic actually told me that, and he said that if you have exhaust coming out like that, then it's just going to sit there and rotate around in that vortex, and it's going to start coming into the cab, and you're going to start breathing in carbon monoxide and truck exhaust. So it's really actually pretty dangerous, and it was a bigger deal than I really thought it was. But we got it all fixed up. They switched me out to a Freightliner actually, which isn't bad. You know, I think I talked about it a little bit in a previous video, but the cab on the Freightliners is pretty large, you know, so like if my mirror needed to be adjusted right now, you know, I'd kind of have to like reach up a little bit and lean forward to be able to get it to where it needs to be. But that's all right, you know, it's minor complaints. The truck drives pretty good. The steering is a little bit better than the Mack. Sometimes the Mack steering is kind of loose. But anyways, guys, in today's video, like I said earlier, we're just going on a meet and turn run up to Claude. I think you guys have watched me do one already, so it's not going to be anything very new. But I know in this video, if I have time, I'm going to try to talk about the program that I went to get on with ABF through the Army. And it will be particularly interesting for service members that are still active duty, that have yet to transition out of the military, because that's where the program is focused towards, is those guys that are within 180 days of their transition date. So stay tuned to the video, guys. I'm gonna get out driving, get out of Dallas a little bit, and then once we get down the road a ways, I'll chime back in and talk a little bit more about that. Alrighty guys, and just like that, here we are coming into Claude, Texas. Pretty uneventful drive here. The only thing is that we've been having to deal with these things being squirrely the whole way here. I don't know what it is today about these trailers, but I don't know if it's the way that they were loaded or the weights, but they have been kind of wanting to go all over the place today. It's not really that windy. I know sometimes when they load them improperly, it'll kind of give it a little bit of a sway or the weights, but today your front pup is always supposed to be heavier than your rear pup, and today our front pup is about 1,000 pounds heavier than the rear, which, you know, should make it fine, but I don't know, they call these things wiggle wagons for a reason, right? But anyways, I just wanted to chime in real quick here before we come into the meat spot here in Claude at Cefco and talk about a little bit about these tractors. I've seen a few comments and emails about people wondering about these tractors. And first thing is the radio. None of our tractors have AM/FM radios built in or CD players or anything like that. The company chooses to spec them out without that installed. Most drivers, what they'll use is either a Bluetooth speaker or a headset to listen to music or podcasts or, you know, whatever you might want to listen to. But other than that, besides that, the CB radios, I've seen a couple guys asking about that. CBs, we don't have them installed from the factory, but there is the option to put them in. We have power posts and antenna mounts on the outside of the cab to mount your antennas. The only thing with that is if you choose to bring your own CB, you're going to have to install it and deinstall it every time you come into the tractor because we don't keep the same tractors. And the last thing is the passenger seat. A few guys have noticed that there's no passenger seat in our tractors, and that's the same across the board. The only exception to that is our training tractors that they use on the dock program. They'll have a passenger seat there for the trainer, but other than that, no, we don't have a passenger seat in any of our road tractors or city tractors, and that's good, you know, in my opinion, because that allows us more space for all of our gear. It makes it easier to load it. You know, it's already high enough as it is to get it on the floor here. To get it up onto a seat too would just even be that much higher. But that's pretty much all there is to that, guys. If you guys have any more questions regarding the tractors, feel free to chime a comment down below or email me. But with all that being said, we're about to pull in here to the Cefco here and see if this other guy is already here from Albuquerque. He was due to arrive about 15 minutes ago, but that doesn't account stops. You know, he might have had to stop to use the restroom or something or whatnot, but we're about to pull in here and see what the deal is. If he's already here, then I'll probably go off the camera and talk with him, see what the deal is. But if not, we'll do a nice little drop and hook. But let's see what we got. Yep, all right, he's gonna be already here, so that's all right. We'll get it all taken care of, get in here to the parking lot and get all swapped out. I've got hazmat today, so I'll make sure I get him his paperwork and everything like that. But yeah, he's already all dropped off, got his landing gear down, so just waiting for me. I'll probably just pull up right next to him, get the trailers all swapped out. I've already made a few videos where I show all that, so you guys will have to forgive me as far as cutting it out today, but just to respect the other driver's privacy and everything like that, I'll cut off the camera and I'll chime back in with you guys once I'm done. But alrighty guys, that's all there is to it. I'll be back with y'all here in a little bit. Alrighty guys, just like that, we're all switched out. Already met the other driver, got our trailers all switched out and everything. Everything went good. We just switched our trailers and he took off back to Albuquerque. He'd already been here for a few minutes, so he was able to take off. I sat here for my 30-minute break, went in, grabbed some Subway, and now we're about to get back out on the road here. I just stopped by here in the pumps. I didn't need to get fuel or anything. I just had to stop by and wipe off the windshield here. Try to keep the bugs as clean as possible, you know. It's a losing battle driving as much as we do. Oh, free and clear, baby. That's what I like to see. I've had to sit here for like 20 minutes before just waiting to get out of this intersection. Just like that. But anyways guys, I wanted to talk a little bit in this video about what exactly I went through to get here where I am today with ABF. Back in my first video, I talked a little bit about who I am and how I got here, and I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on that, but I'll try to keep it as brief as possible, keep it, you know, in a nutshell to keep the video shorter. But if I glaze over anything and you'd like me to elaborate, feel free to drop a comment down below or email me, and I'd be glad to elaborate further on anything that I might have been a little vague on. But anyways, in a nutshell, so if you're active duty military, if you are still in the military and you are coming up on your transition date, you've decided that you want to get out, or maybe you haven't decided you want to get out, you might want to re-enlist just because you're not sure what to do in your future moving forward. So what ABF has and the Teamsters have for transitioning service members is what's called the Teamsters Military Assistance Program, the TMAP program. And it uses the same curriculum as our DOC program for dock workers to drivers program. And it's a pretty cool 6-week course you go through from scratch. When I started, I didn't even have a CDL, no trucking experience, and went through the whole process, 6 weeks, got all the way from ground zero up to full CDL with all my endorsements and everything. And from the day that I enrolled in the program, in order to be enrolled into the program and start your first day of class, you have to be hired by ABF. That's the awesome thing. So like my first day that I reported to the class, which was still, I don't know, 180 days before my transition date, I already knew I had a job lined up for me. So I started the class, 6 weeks, went through the class, finished the class and graduated with my CDL with full endorsements. Did a couple more weeks at my Army unit, and then signed out on terminal leave is what we call it. It's paid time off that you get after your transition date to help you get set up for your future. And you know, I had like 74 days of terminal leave that I was paid still by the Army, and I started with ABF within a few weeks, a couple weeks even, of moving down to Dallas from Colorado. And you know, I was double dipping there for a little bit, still getting paid by the Army and getting paid by ABF, and it was awesome. And but yeah, this program is awesome, guys, and it's not only restricted to Fort Carson and Fort Riley. Those are the two locations that offer the training. And a lot of guys, you know, from what I've seen, are, you know, don't know about it, you know, and they don't know, like, the only people that are exposed to it are the guys that are on those posts that see the trucks driving around. They say student driver on them, and you see them, you're like, oh, I wonder what that is, and you go over and start to find out about it, and you know, it turns out it's pretty awesome. But you know, the guys that are on other posts and other branches of the military don't ever see anything like that and never hear of it. So you know, this is what I'm trying to do, you know, just trying to help people out. If you're interested, you know, it's not restricted. If you are a active duty service member, regardless of your branch and service location, that program is available to you as long as you meet the criteria. You know, clean driving record, able to pass a background check, and you're able to, you know, do the training, and you're not too late where you're already gone or you're too far gone. But you know, just keep it in mind, guys, if you're in the military, active duty, you know, you could be within your first year, you know, you're still 2 years away from your transition date, but keep this information, put it in your back pocket, and keep it in mind, because that program at Fort Riley and Fort Carson, it's available to all service members, regardless of branch and location. You just have to go through, in the Army we call it SFL TAP, SFLTAP. It's an abbreviation for the Soldier for Life Transition Assistance Program. It was initiated back in like 2013, 2014, somewhere around there, to help service members as they're transitioning out of the military, in the Army particularly. But I'm sure that every branch has a similar program that you have to do these mandatory classes before you transition. But that's where this program stemmed from. It's through what's called a career skills program through the SFL TAP, or so a CSP. You'll have to forgive the military, all of our abbreviations. It gets a little mind-numbing after a while. But the TMAP program, the Teamsters Military Assistance Program, is a career skills program offered through the SFL TAP program. So, you know, regardless, there's other programs too. You know, I'm a full advocate for all of them, not just ABF and the TMAP program. If you are looking into anything, you know, IT, if you want to be a computer tech, IT support, There's a Microsoft program that they offer at Fort Carson. There's a program with Caliber Collision if you want to be an auto repair tech. One of our local dealerships, Phil Long Ford in Colorado Springs, has a program there to learn how to be a car salesman. It's all basically an internship that you do while you're still in the military. It's before you ever even leave the military. So you get it approved through your command, and they basically release you to go report to this training instead of your unit, and you get to go and do this training and get this valuable experience and this valuable knowledge before you even transition out. So you don't even have to worry about it. It's almost seamless. And the best part, one of the best parts in my opinion with the ABF program that they have, is your commitment you have to sign is only a year. You only have to sign a 1-year commitment to ABF to pay for that training that you took, the 6-week course to get your CDL. So if you're like me and didn't have any tractor trailer experience, didn't even have a CDL, went through that training and got a fully loaded CDL, the only thing you have to give back is a year to the company. And I'm a solid advocate for ABF. I love this company and I love what I do, and I'm probably gonna stay here for a long time. But if you get here and it's not for you, everybody has different taste, and you just don't like it, you could kick rocks after a year and have a fully paid CDL with all the training and endorsements and a year of experience that you can take with you to another company. And that's very valuable. You know, once these COVID times are starting to wind down, I guarantee these companies are gonna start looking back to value and experience. And you know, a lot of the times right now you've been able to get hired on these companies that, and they might have waived your required experience, but I'm betting, you know, as time goes on, they're gonna start looking for experience again. So just keep all that in mind, guys. Like I said, that's kind of what this program is like in a nutshell. If you are active duty military, within 180 days of transitioning, you are in the window to participate in this training. So jump on it if you have the chance. If you already missed it, that sucks. Sorry about it. I wish I could have got to you sooner. But if not, even if you're just now joining the military or thinking about joining the military in the future, you could join the military, serve 3 years, and do it right as you're on your way out in 3 years. There's nothing wrong with that. It should still be there. There's no sign of it going anywhere. It's a strong bond between the Teamsters, ABF, and the military. So it's an option. Just keep it in mind, guys. And like I said, if I was a little bit vague or not very descriptive about it, or you should think I need to elaborate on anything else, feel free to comment below. Email me if you have any specific questions, and I'd be happy to let you know anything that you'd like to know if as long as I can answer it. But with all that being said, guys, I'm out on the highway now, 287 southbound. Not a lot to see out here, but we're heading back towards Dallas. It's going to be pretty close here. Maps is saying, GPS is saying 4 hours 45 minutes, and I got 5 hours 28 minutes left on my drive time. So let's just hope we don't hit any traffic, which we shouldn't. Coming back into Dallas of around 11:30 p.m. So we should be fine. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get back out on the road here, keep driving. If anything interesting happens, I'll chime back in. If not, I'll see y'all back in Dallas. just like that. Here we are back in Dallas, about to come into the terminal now. Not too eventful, pretty easy run there, easy 660 miles out to Claude and back, and I'm back in my own bed, same day. Can't complain about that too much, right? Before I do wrap up the video, guys, there's a few housekeeping things I'd like to talk about real quick. First things first, one thing I want to mention is something I forgot to mention earlier regarding the TMAP program that I came through to get into the military, or excuse me, to get into ABF from the military. And that thing that I forgot to mention was that if you guys know somebody that is in the military, active duty, or is about to be, feel free to pass this information along to them. You know, if you have a brother, sister, father, daughter, whatever it may be, that is active duty military or about to join the military, feel free to put that information in your back pocket and use it for them to, or excuse me, keep that knowledge in your back pocket to pass on to them if it's helpful for them, because, you know, that's my intent here, is to kind of try to do my best to pass on all the useful information that I've learned over the years and let that help somebody else if possible. So like I said, if you guys do know somebody that information would help, put it in your back pocket and, you know, pass it on as necessary. With that being said, another thing I wanted to mention here was regarding my camera. You know, I use a GoPro for my POV camera, and made it with 18 minutes to spare. Let's see. We'll go into on duty, post trip, and arrive. But like I was saying with my camera here, I've been bouncing around with exactly every time I make a video. I learn something new regarding this camera, and it's been a kind of a learning experience. So forgive me, guys, if you've noticed some amateur mistakes here with the camera. I know in the last couple of videos I've been struggling with the exposure, the auto exposure. But one thing I just learned is that I've actually been using the wrong SIM card. No, excuse me, SD card, micro SD card, the improper format for this camera. So, you know, I was wondering why 4K just wasn't working at all and why the camera was acting slow and freezing up and all that stuff. And that's why, it's just because I was using the wrong micro SD card. So I got that fixed up now, and I'm actually recording in 4K now. So let me know if you guys notice a difference in the videos. I don't know exactly if it'll render and upload in 4K or if it'll still be 1080p, but you guys should still see a little bit of an improvement, hopefully. But lastly, one last thing I do want to mention here real quick before I wrap up the video is regarding the comments section in these videos. And what I'm talking about with that is that I would like for you guys to try to keep things on topic in the comments. I definitely understand in these videos I may make mistakes and I may do things not exactly the way that you would do them, and if that's the case, then I definitely understand if you guys want to chime into the comments, offer up some constructive criticism or some advice or input. That's awesome, and I fully support that. If there's something that you know how to do better than I do and you can offer up that knowledge and experience to me in a way that I can interpret it, then that's awesome. I fully support that. I'll definitely go through the comments and try to use that experience to benefit myself. But when it comes to the fact that I also understand that there are guys in my audience that have worked for or do work for other carriers, companies, or maybe you're an owner-operator, that's great. If that's what works for you, if that's what makes you happy, and that's what puts food on the table for you and your family, I fully support that, if that's what you enjoy doing. But when it comes to going into the comments and, you know, posting about, you know, how much less work you have to do and how much more money you make to do less work and all that stuff, that's not really the intent of the channel. The intent of the channel is just to shine some light on what it is exactly like to be a driver for ABF Freight on the line haul side, and not much else. That's pretty much it. So the intent is definitely not to create a platform for guys to get in the comments and engage in some sort of measuring contest on who can make the most money to do the least amount of work. So just keep that in mind, guys. I know that 99% of you guys have been awesome, have been 100% supportive of the channel and my content, and I truly appreciate you guys. You've definitely been my motivation to keep this thing going and keep the videos coming out regularly. I think the channel's doing great. I'm trying my best here, and I feel like you guys are being very supportive of me, and I really do appreciate that. So with all that being said, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. That's pretty much gonna be it for today. We'll see where we go from here, but if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like and definitely subscribe to the channel if you guys are wanting to see more content like this. And if you have any questions, concerns, or anything you'd like me to chime in on in a future video, feel free to drop a comment down below. And if you'd like to ask anything on a more one-on-one level or more private setting, feel free to send me an email, which is listed down in the description. But with all that being said, guys, I appreciate you. Stay tuned for future videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.